So today I want to share with you a little bit about my journey in this personal development world, or what I like to call personal empowerment, and what I'll actually be diving into in March in the Women Thrive Summit. My talk is called Unlock the Power of a Positive Self-Image and Redefine Your Worthiness. So in my journey through my counseling practice as a coach and being a certified in complementary medicine and wellness, I wanted to share with you what it really means to be, this mind-body connection. That's the key. It's like in this journey through my education and practice, I always knew there was this mind-body connection. There's something to that. And I want to share with you a little bit about that. And my first understanding of that came when I was experiencing panic attacks and anxiety and insomnia as a freshman in college. So big challenges I faced. I knew I was anxious. I knew I couldn't sleep. I was overwhelmed with school. And from that day forward, I realized that I had to pay attention to what my thoughts were because my thoughts were impacting how I was feeling, which impacted my body, how I was showing up in this tense state of being. And that's when I discovered meditation and decided to use meditation to eliminate my panic attacks and anxiety. And it worked. So that was pretty exciting for me when I discovered that it worked. So I call meditation my magic pill. It is, always will be. And what I did is I had this little cassette player. It looked just like this. This is not my original one. This is one I found, but it looked just like this from the 80s. And I would put in my cassettes. If you remember what cassettes, any of you remember what cassettes look like. I would plug in my cassette and I would listen to these meditations at night because I couldn't sleep anyway. And I started to notice a new conversation in my head. And because that old conversation was about self-doubt and many beliefs, and what if I fail? And what if I can't pass the next test? And all these what ifs and self-doubt and all that, the thoughts of I'm not good enough and all that negative chatter, the chaos you might be familiar with. And so I noticed that conversation started to quiet down when I started to meditate. And I was sleeping again, and I felt at ease again, and I was handling myself so much differently. And so if my mind could control my body, there was something to this, right? There's this, just the other day, I actually pulled a book off my bookshelf that was one of my very first books from college, and I kept it. It's called Bioenergetics. And it was one of the very first books I read about this mind-body connection. How powerful are my thoughts, and how do they impact my body and who I am? And another favorite of mine is Joe Dispenza. He has an amazing book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Is that the best title? Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And he talks about personality. And I loved this because I often would hear people say, well, Dawn, this is just who I am. This is just the way it is. It's how I was born. Well, Joe talks about personality is what you think all day long, what you feel all day long, and what you do all day long. So I could have taken the identity on as being this panic attacks or anxiety, but I chose to shift into something different. I chose to change the thoughts, change the emotions, and then show up differently. So it's all about habit, right? So our thoughts are habit, our emotions are habit, our actions are habit. It's our personality. It's these habits. So our thoughts are changeable, our emotions are changeable, and what we do is changeable. But we have to choose, right? We have to choose. So imagine that time when you decided to think differently, to feel differently, to act differently. And so how do we go on and create who we choose to be? Well, we have to practice, right? We have to understand the power of habit and practice and know that you've done it before. You know what it's like to change the perspective and shift into something else. So knowing that our beliefs are habit, and we can change those beliefs and choose something. So we get past those limiting beliefs. We get past the self-doubt. So I want you to imagine for a moment, what are you without that thought? Who can you become without that negative thought? That's the big question. So that's where the journey begins. And I'm so excited to share with you more at the summit in March, my talk on how to really begin that journey of shifting into a new, powerful, positive self-image, stepping into that space, something different than this negative belief, something different than this self-doubt, because doable. We're changeable. We're always evolving and growing. And so I invite you to visit my website. It's dawngaden.com. It's super simple, dawngaden.com. I'll put it in the chat. And I want you to get a taste, like start practicing what it's like to make that shift. And I have a gift for you. It's called Unleash Joy in 3 minutes. Now, I'm not a shortcut kind of person. I'm a positive, lasting change kind of person. But you can do this in 3 minutes. You can move your body, choose powerful, positive words, speak out loud, and begin to see the shift into who you really want to be. We get to create our life. We get to create this new, powerful, positive self-image. And so I'm so excited to share with you more at the summit in March. Sign up now. We have amazing speakers, as you've already seen. And it's really your opportunity to take the next step, right? Choose joy. That's why I call my free gift to you, Unleash More Joy. What's the one thing that people say often is, I want to be happy. I just want to be happy. At the bottom, we might go on and say, I want more toys and I want more money and I want more this, but why? I just want to be happy. So I invite you to practice. Check out my website, dawngaden.com, and unleash joy.